Hello! So I am back with a video that I said I would do earlier today. I got a chance to sample the 4 new private blends from the Tom Ford line. Previously, I had been told that this line was going to be called Jardin Noir. There were 4 names that I had looked around on the internet and found that the company, Tom Ford's company, had trademarked 4 names for them, in addition to trademarking Jardin Noir. But it appears that they changed those names. Because when I went in today to pick up the bottle of Lumiere Noir, the fragrance manager who was there, who knows that I'm a huge Tom Ford fan, told me that she had lab samples of the new ones. So she took them out for me, let me spray them on some cards, which I have here. They were officially marked by the company. They had logos and everything. It wasn't like some glass vial that somebody wrote on a sticker. They were printed labels with the same font, same logo and everything. And the names had changed. In fact, the name of the line had changed. It is called, apparently, the Twisted Florals line, which I guess is a sub-line of the private blends similar to what the White Musk line was. And the 4 names they had were, the first one is called Ombre de Hyacinth. No idea what that means. But hyacinth is a flower, so that would be one. Second one is called Lys Malice. Lys is L-Y-S. Malice, M-A-L-I-C-E. That's that one. The third one is called Coffee Rose. This is the one that had previously been called Cafe Rose. The fourth one, which is quite possibly the stupidest name I've ever heard for fragrance, is Me, as in me. M-E, all with exclamation points after it. No idea where he got that from, but that is a terrible name. So, got a chance to try them out, and I will tell you that the Twisted Floral term is a very, very appropriate name for this. These were odd. Now, I was only able to get one on my skin, which is Cafe Rose. It's still there. Or Cafe, it's the old name for it. Coffee Rose. I'll get to that one in a minute, because that's the one I got the best impression of. But let me go through the other 3 and tell you what I can. Unfortunately, the scent died off a little bit. It was a little difficult because I was getting impressions of these all at the same time, in addition to trying out a few of the other MFKs and a couple other things I had there, so my nose was a little off. But I did get a sense of what they were. The first one I'll talk about is, let's do Me. Now, when I first sprayed this on, I was still trying to comprehend why the hell they would name it this. Both this one and Lys Malice both have a bit more of a conventional floral smell to it, not taste, obviously. As conventional as you can get with a Tom Ford. And I think it was, this one is, I couldn't tell what flower it was. It reminded me of something. I couldn't tell if it was a gardenia or if it was a tuberose, but it did have more of a conventional flower smell to it. Didn't really get much more out of it than that. Again, stupid name. I wasn't terribly impressed by that one. Lys Malice, to me, that was very heavy on jasmine, which made me beg the question, why is he making a jasmine when he just came out with one last year, Jasmine Rouge? Why do another one? I don't know. But it wasn't bad, but I'm not a big jasmine fan. I really don't like it. It doesn't sit well on my skin. So, not one that I would be terribly interested in. But, again, none of the first 3 I'm talking about here, I did not get them on my skin. The impressions weren't very good, so take it with a grain of salt. This one, the third one, Ombre de Hyacinth. This was odd. Really, really odd. I'll tell you, as it's dried down now, and it's been sitting on the paper, at first it seemed like a very odd floral. It seemed, I mean, I know the hyacinth is a form of flower or a plant in, I don't know what it, I mean, I've never smelled the flower, so I don't know what it smells like, but there was a very odd smell to it, almost a little bit sour, if there is such a thing as a sour floral, but it's, as it's dried down, it's still quite floral, but there's a little bit of a spiciness to it, a hint of sweetness. This one's nicer. It's still a little bit more on the feminine side than I would prefer, or at least on the strict floral, but this one I would definitely want to be interested to try out on my skin to see how it works. I think this could be a good one. It could be a sleeper. It's interesting, to say the least. These are all very interesting fragrances in their own right. I'll get to that a little bit more in a second. The last one, which is my favorite, is Coffee Rose. This one I did get a far better impression of. I have it on tester strip here as well as on my arm. And the first thing that came into my mind when I sprayed this was Rose Oud by Kilian. And this does share quite a few similarities to it. However, number one, it doesn't cost $395 for 50 milliliters of it. So you pay $100 more, you get 8 times as much juice. Step one. Second, he doesn't purport that there's oud in this, whereas Kilian does. There is very little oud in Rose Oud. This one, I think, has a more deeper rose to it, as well as a much deeper saffron. In addition, in the background, there is a very dry coffee bean that lingers in the beginning, and then as it dries down, and when it dried down on my skin, the coffee bean becomes a little bit more prevalent. It's certainly not overwhelming. It's not the same kind of coffee you're going to find in a New Harlem or any of the other popular coffee fragrances out there, but it's definitely there. It's not like the only other coffee rose combination that I can remember or think of off the top of my head was Rock Volume 1 by John Barbados, and I think he missed with that one a little bit. Really wasn't much. I got virtually no coffee in it, and the rose was very faint, to say the least, in that one. This definitely does not miss the mark. The rose is very prevalent. This is a rose fragrance, to its core, backed up by saffron and the coffee. There's a little bit of sort of an oudy feel to it, way in the background. There are no notes released for these yet. There might be an oud, but it's very faint. Certainly, this is not an oud fragrance by any means. But I think he did a great job of keeping the coffee very tame, but keeping it available and keeping it present in your mind and on your nose. This one I would absolutely very much consider buying and splitting. In fact, on base notes, I already opened a split of this. I think this one is the winner of the 4. I think this would be the best, at least among us in the community. I could see some of the other ones maybe being popular with the female crowd because they are a little bit more of in the feminine floral area. But I don't know. I'll say this: when I was in there, the fragrance manager was telling me that she had a similar impression that I did, that it was a very odd line, it was very weird, and that I said to her, it seems like I can't tell if Tom Ford's taken a dive off the deep end, or if he really has created something very new and very brilliant. I think it remains to be seen. Obviously, only getting one of these on my skin, I can't come to that conclusion yet. But the name Twisted Florals is very appropriate. Very appropriate. These are very twisted. again, I don't know if he's just kind of... She made the comment that it was... She thought he was kind of getting a little kooky with some of these releases here, but she loved Coffee Rose, by the way. This was by far her favorite of the line. But it's really hard to tell if these are too weird or too twisted, or if he's really, really off the mark. I don't know. Remains to be seen from me. I definitely think Coffee Rose is a winner. I think it will be a winner with the community. I could see some people maybe not liking it because they think it's a copy of Rose Oud. I wouldn't agree with that, because terming it that way would imply that he took the same thing and just redid it. I think he took that genre and improved upon it. It's certainly an improvement over Rose Oud, I would say, if for no other reason than the price. And that he doesn't say that there's oud in it, at least not in the name. It's well known that the Killian Oud line is light on the oud, if there's any in there. And the price is absolutely outrageous. And even despite the fact that Tom Ford just raised his prices, those Killian Ouds are out of this world. But strictly looking at the juice, I think he did a better job of making it a very deep, thorough rose with the coffee in the background. I think the coffee is what really sets it apart. It's not overpowering. If you're looking for, spritzing New Harlem and, some rose fragrance together, and that's what you're going to get, you're not going to find it. This is not sweet. It's not a sugary coffee. It's a very dry, as I said. Raw is the best way to describe it. It's a very raw coffee. It's almost like if you take your coffee black and you don't put anything in it. That's really what it is. I think it will be a hit with the community. We'll see. The one other one I did get to sample is he has a new men's fragrance from his Signature line, which is separate from the Private Blends. And they did have a lab sample of that as well. I did like it. It was good. The only downside to me is a little bit too heavy on the patchouli. As I'm smelling this on the card right now, there's a lot of patchouli. That's pretty much all I'm getting. When I was in the store, I didn't notice it as much. It was there, but it wasn't as overpowering as it is right now. I cannot smell anything else on this card other than patchouli. That's it. When I was there, on the first spray, there was some... It seemed like there was some leatherness to it, maybe a little bit of smoky tinge to it, mixed in with the patchouli. That was nice. I was impressed by it. Some of his other signatures, I haven't been as much. Tom Ford for Men, nice scent, doesn't last. Extreme is good, but I think there's too much in it. Too many notes, bit off more than he could chew. Grey Vetiver, I'm not a Vetiver fan, so that's not one that I'm big on. So it'd be nice to get a signature one that is more appealing to me. But if it is this much of a patchouli bomb, that I'm not going to like, because I have enough. I'm not huge on patchouli to begin with, at least not raw patchouli by itself. It's just not for me. So if that's really all it is, it wouldn't be as good. But somebody who likes patchouli, this might be a good one for you. So that is that. No guarantees that these are going to be the names or anything when they come out. For all I know, they could change. Just last week, it was still Jardin Noir, as far as I knew. They registered trademarks for it, so who knows? Still no release date for them. I've been told that it would be sometime around the beginning of September, but who knows? If you would be interested possibly in getting in on a split of Coffee Rose, let me know. I am taking reservations for it right now. I think that's really the best one of these to do, since it is a little bit, not safer, but it's a scent combination that I think people here are more familiar with, so it would be less of a blind buy. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I will get you information on that. Otherwise, as that, I will update you as soon as I find out more on these, release date, if they change the name again, and we'll go from there. Alright, and if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them as best as I can about these. Yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.